Hello and welcome to my SWOT analysis for Mark C. Keppel Elementary School. I'm Lonnie Sumrold, and this project is for Education 590, Issues in Teaching. This analysis aims to study the school and provide recommendations that would benefit the school and its students. I hope you find this information engaging and agree with these recommendations based on the research I've presented. First, I'm going to give you some background into Mark Keppel. Mark C. Keppel is a visual and performing arts magnet school serving just under 1,000 students from kindergarten to 5th grade. It's located in the Glendale Unified School District, and the principal is Christine Tonoli. Mark Keppel is where I had the opportunity to do my student teaching. As such, I'm basing the following information on my prior knowledge, research, and an interview with one of the teachers I worked with. Keppel also has a dual immersion program that exposes students to Korean and English. We'll talk more about it a little later, but I wanted to mention it now as well. The following 2 slides provide some demographic context for the student population at Keppel. The majority of the students at Keppel are white at 63%, followed by Asians at 19%. Most of the Asian students are part of the FLAG dual immersion program. It was important for me to note that Black and African American students make up just 0.8% of the population. According to Public School Review, the diversity score of Mark Keppel Elementary School is 0.58, which is less than the diversity score at the state average of 0.64. As we look at student groups, we can see that just over 35% of the student body is socioeconomically disadvantaged. In addition, 24% are English learners, and another 8% of the student body has a disability. I didn't notice a huge disparity in gender enrollment. Still, the School Accountability Report Card, or SARC, noted that there were 0 non-binary students enrolled. This is the first time that I've seen a third or other gender option for students, which I found very encouraging. I wanted to dig a little deeper into the English learners and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. I noticed that both the number of English learners and students using the free and reduced price meals decreased, and I wonder if those 2 data points are correlated. I noted in the previous slide that just about 25% of Keppel students are English learners. Those English learners speak a wide variety of languages, including Armenian, Korean, Spanish, Farsi, Russian, and Arabic. Most people think about student demographics while analyzing a school. Still, it is also essential to look at the staff who serve the students. Pictured are some of the leadership, including Principal Christine Tonoli and the new assistant principal. One feature I noticed is the oversaturation of white and Asian teachers to the exclusion of all other races. I know that the surrounding Glendale area serves many different races and communities, so I wonder how Keppel chooses its teachers and builds diversity in its curriculum and hiring practices. The next part of this presentation analyzes Mark Keppel's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then I will provide 4 recommendations for Keppel's continued success. According to the California Department of Education data, Mark Keppel ranks among the top 20% of public schools in California for overall rank, math proficiency, and reading and language arts proficiency for the 2018-19 school year. Keppel also, on its site, lists several achievements and distinguishments. For example, they were named a star school by the CBEE from 2012 to 2017. Keppel also received the California Title I Academic Achievement Award 3 times. Additionally, we see academic success in the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, CASP. According to the CASP website, this standardized exam is an English language arts and math academic assessment for grades 3 through 8. On average, Mark Keppel's test scores are far higher than the California state average. The percentage of students achieving proficiency in math is 63%, which is higher than the California average of 40%. Furthermore, almost 71% of students achieved reading and language arts proficiency, higher than the state average of 51%. Please note that these data are from the 2018-19 school year. Due to the pandemic, the CASP was not administered in the 2019-20 school year. In addition to its academic achievements, Mark Keppel also has several special programs designed to help Keppel students find success. One program that Keppel is part of is PBIS. This is a behavior intervention program designed to decrease behavioral problems. Mark Keppel was among the PBIS Silver Medal schools. The Make Keppel Special Foundation, MKS, is Mark Keppel's arts-focused, nonprofit organization run entirely by parent volunteers. In addition to showing that Mark Keppel has generous community support, MKS provides Keppel students with resident artists for music, dance, theater, and visual arts. Furthermore, MKS exposes children to the arts and gives them different methods of self-expression. Finally, Keppel has a dual language immersion program called FLAG. The FLAG Korean program follows a 50-50 dual language immersion model. Korean dual immersion students receive instruction in Korean for 50% of the day and English for 50% of the day. Unfortunately, Keppel has its fair share of weaknesses that can negatively impact both the Keppel students and the community. One major weakness is the lack of support for English learners. From a data standpoint, we see that 40% of English learners do not meet English language arts standards. Historically, only about 10% of English learners exceeded the standard. The results for math are slightly more encouraging, but there is an upward trend in English learners not meeting standards for math. In 2018, over 40% of English learners did not meet the standard. Only 30% of English learners met or exceeded the standards for ELA, and another 40% met or exceeded the math standards. Based on what I experienced, I know that the classroom's legally designated ELD time is not being honored. During my interview, I found out that this was an issue even before the pandemic. In addition, there are insufficient intervention teachers to provide sufficient support in closing the achievement gap, and language barriers may also prevent students from bridging the gap between home and school. Another weakness at Mark Keppel is the lack of equity at the school. For example, PBIS, the Positive Behavioral Intervention Program, is not implemented consistently. Not only that, but there is also an overrepresentation of students of color, particularly Black or African American and Latinx students, being referred to special education programs. While the curriculum at Keppel is updated, it is not culturally responsive. In particular, the social studies curriculum is trending in the right direction. However, it is not anti-biased and anti-racist, or ABAR. While there is a culturally responsive curriculum committee, it has not been utilized. There are two significant opportunities available to Mark Keppel that I've identified. The first is the wealth of new curricula becoming available for students. For example, there has been a focus lately on empathy and kindness, so Keppel is exploring programs to support that goal. One curriculum program Keppel introduced is the Collaborative Classroom, which provides lessons and resources to foster social-emotional learning. Mind Up is another curriculum that helps students focus and reach their potential through brain-centered management and teaching strategies. The Keppel School Psychologist is currently implementing this curriculum as a pilot program. If effective, the school will use it in other classrooms. I think it's very beneficial for students to understand how their brains work and use it to their advantage, so I hope that this curriculum is implemented well. The second opportunity that Mark Keppel can take advantage of is community engagement. The first thing to consider is that Keppel has a significant opportunity thanks to the Magnet School grant. This arts integration allows students and teachers to expand their knowledge of the arts. In addition, having resident artists exposes students to different kinds of art and gives them several means of expression. Additionally, as COVID restrictions ease, families can now reintegrate into the classroom community. Finally, The existence of a culturally responsive curriculum committee shows that Keppel has the potential for a culturally relevant and responsive curriculum. Including external stakeholders in this committee and student and teacher voices is an opportunity to ask for funding and resources that will go toward an expansive curriculum for the students. Of course, the greatest threat for schools right now is the pandemic. Even though Keppel has a comprehensive safety and reopening plan, it is still impossible to predict the spread of COVID. In addition, county, state, and federal restrictions regarding social distancing, masking, and vaccines seem to change every day. Because of that, school protocol is also consistently in flux. The only consistency in the world seems to be rapid and unpredictable change. The current political climate and a growing war are all factors that threaten the safety of students and education. More than that, since they are younger, they do not yet have the tools to process this change and make rational decisions about their future. In addition to world events, local political views can also negatively affect Mark Keppel. The voices pushing back against inclusive curriculum are loud and insistent, making them difficult to ignore. But unfortunately, those stakeholders' voices may be heard louder than the voices of the teachers who know what the students need. Finally, here are 4 recommendations that I have for the success of Mark Keppel Elementary and its students. My first 3 recommendations are ways for Keppel to expand its services to English learners. First, Keppel has been given COVID funding, and I recommend that they hire qualified intervention teachers to work with students on a small group or individual level. In addition to intervention teachers, the school should implement English language development programs that benefit English learners. An accountability team should also monitor the program for equal implementation and student progress. I think it is necessary to provide teachers with professional development opportunities to give them tools to reach out to and communicate with parents. This is the first step in breaking down the language barrier and creating a support system for students from home to the classroom. My final recommendation is for Keppel to identify and hire quality educators. The average teaching experience of teachers at Mark Keppel is 15 years. These teachers have experience in the classroom, but it also means that teaching practices were vastly different the last time they were in school. Therefore, it is essential that the teachers Keppel hires understand the most updated teaching practices and are willing to learn and implement them. Furthermore, Keppel should intentionally hire teachers who meet the mission and values of the school, rather than relying on years of experience as a marker of success as a teacher. Once again, thank you for taking the time to learn about Mark Keppel through my presentation. I hope you found it informative and engaging. We're clear.